Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about my must-start and must-sit running backs for week number 5 of the 2021 fantasy football season. Inside today's video, I'm going to begin by talking about my must-start running backs, and then we're going to pivot halfway through the video into my must-sit running backs of week number 5 based upon their matchups. But before we get on into things, I would like to ask if you are new to the channel and you do end up enjoying today's video, to please make sure that you do hit that subscribe button down below, and whether you are new to the channel or not, please make sure you hit that like button down below. It would help us out a ton. And if you guys do not follow me on Twitter and would like to, please follow me on there at NotoriousFNTSY. So without further ado, let's get into it. We begin with the must-start category at the running back position. And my first must-start running back is a running back who's technically not exactly a running back, but he's listed as a running back on most fantasy platforms. That is Cordarrelle Patterson, running back / wide receiver of the Atlanta Falcons, going up against the New York Jumbo Jets in London this week. So Cordarrelle Patterson has basically just entered must-start category for every single week moving forward. Despite being in the NFL for like 10 years at this point, this has been by far the best season, the best start of the season in his NFL career. Patterson is currently the running back number 3 in half PPR. Why would we draft Zeke, Christian McCaffrey, all these other guys, we could have just drafted Cordarrelle fucking Patterson? That's just how crazy it is at this point. And last week up against the Washington football team, he had 6 carries for 34 yards, as well as 5 receptions for 82 yards. And not 1, not 2, but 3 touchdowns in that game. He scored 3 touchdowns. Most of Patterson's value derives from his receiving workload, which is why it's very interesting that he's listed as a running back on all the fantasy sites, but it's because on the depth chart of the Falcons, he is listed as a running back. So up against the Jets, this should be a game where Matt Ryan's able to get it cooking. Matt Ryan has actually looked way better than the first 2 weeks of the season in the last couple of days. Maybe Mr. Matt Ryan is getting his swagger back, while the Atlanta Falcons will probably somehow choke this game, just like they did last week up against the Washington football team. To the Jets this week, Cordarrelle Patterson is a key focal point in this offense. I made a joke in the article that I wrote about Cordarrelle Patterson this week that who needs Julio Jones when you have Cordarrelle Patterson, because it's almost true, because Cordarrelle Patterson is just such a key focal point in this offense for Matt Ryan. I believe he has a great game this week up against the New York Jets, and at this point, you can almost just pencil him in to a top 5 performance at the running back position. Next up, we have another running back. Obviously, this is a must-start running back video in Damien Harris of the Chicago Bears going up against the Las Vegas Raiders in Las Vegas. Williams falls into an excellent role in this Bears offense because he is now the lead back following David Montgomery's injury to his knee. The expectation right now is that David Montgomery will miss at least 4 weeks, and that could take up to 7 weeks for him to fully recover. So you may start to hear me talk about Damien Williams a couple of times over the next couple of weeks. He is not the same running back as David Montgomery, but since Bill Lazor has taken over the play calling for that bozo Matt Nagy, it appears that the Bears offense is on the up and up, that the Bears offense is going to look a lot better with Lazor calling the plays instead of Matt Nagy. And luckily for us, Matt Nagy didn't screw us over. He actually declared that Justin Fields is the starter earlier on today. So it's basically the perfect offense right now for Mr. Justin Fields and for Damien Williams to succeed, because there is going to be competent play calling as well as great quarterback play, at least in comparison to Andy Dalton. You definitely want Justin Fields out there. So I think Damien Williams will have an excellent game this week up against the Las Vegas Raiders. My next must-start player, his name is also Damien. It's Damien Harris, running back of the New England Patriots, going up against the Houston Texans in Houston. Harris had a poor showing last week up against the Buccaneers, rushing 4 times for -4 yards. That's not very good, obviously. But James White is out. J.J. Taylor is probably in the doghouse because he fumbled last week up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and that should leave Damien Harris with a hefty workload. And the reason why Damien Harris didn't play all that great last week was because he was going up against the Bucs run defense. He played up against the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers defense is solid all around. Now, up against the pass, they're actually allowing a zillion yards. The passing defense is very injured, but up against the run, they are very solid, and I expect Damien Harris going up against a bad Texans defense The defense is just looking dreadful at this point. This should be an easy game for Damien Harris to potentially finish as a top 12 running back, as the main running back, the workhorse running back in New England for the Patriots. I think a lot of people are going to get caught up talking themselves into Mac Jones, how Mac Jones is going to have a great week. But if you guys remember, when they went up against the Jets in a game where everyone thought the Patriots would roll the Jets, just like everyone believes the Patriots are going to roll the Texans, it was a low-scoring game for Mac Jones and an excellent game for Damien Harris, because Bill Belichick doesn't want to just run up the score. He doesn't want to have Mac Jones make some costly mistakes, throw maybe some interceptions, maybe fumble the ball by trying to do something stupid. Instead, they want to just play the game safe. They want to wrap the game up and just hand the ball to Damien Harris a bunch of times, and that will lead to a very nice day out of Damien Harris on Sunday up against the Houston Texans. But before we get on into the must-sit category at the running back position, I would like to let you guys know that we have partnered with Yahoo Fantasy this NFL season to bring you guys an offer that is almost too good to be true. Thanks to our partnership with Yahoo, we have an exclusive deal that gets you guys 2 free months of Awesemo Plus Platinum. You heard that correct. 2 free months of Awesemo Plus Platinum. To qualify, you need to be new to Yahoo. Sign up via the link in the video description below, deposit, and play. That is it. Yahoo will send us your name after you play in your first paid contest, and we'll reach out to you via email with your coupon. If you would like immediate access because you want to play today, please email support@awesemo.com. Again, support@awesemo.com, and we'll get you set up right away. Just to emphasize, this offer is for new Yahoo users only. If you're already a Yahoo user, then you will not be eligible for this promo. In addition, you can claim $10 of free contest entry credit via the Yahoo 10 link in the description below of the video, and you can use that to enter the Thursday Night Baller contest for $150,000. With your 2 free months of Awesemo Plus Platinum, you'll have access to our tools and projections specifically designed for Yahoo, so you can win big. Take advantage and join Yahoo today. Back into it, we begin with my first must-sit running back of the week, and that is Buffalo Bills running back Devin Singletary going up against the Kansas City Chiefs this week in Kansas City. This matchup with the Chiefs should be a relatively high-scoring game, which means fewer running plays. Zach Moss also appears at this point to be the clear lead back, though last week up against the Houston Texans, Devin Singletary looked good. He had 14 carries for 79 yards. So he looked great up against the Texans. Every running back is going to look good up against that garbage-ass Texans defense. That's why I believe that Damien Harris is going to have such a big game this week that I talked about a little bit ago before we talked about Yahoo. So while that was a great showing for Devin Singletary, don't expect that to be the same thing we see every single week, and don't expect that to be the same thing we see this week up against the Kansas City Chiefs. I really do believe that Zach Moss is the clear lead back on the team, and I believe that Devin Singletary will not put up anywhere near close to the amount of points he put up last week up against the Houston Texans. Next up, we got Miles Sanders, running back of the Philadelphia Eagles, going up against the Carolina Panthers in Carolina. With the Eagles' offensive line banged up and virtually no commitment at all to running the football. Doesn't matter if they're up by 1 million. Doesn't matter if they're down by 1 million, trying to slow the defense down, wear the defense down. It doesn't matter. They're not committing to the run, and they are not trusting Miles Sanders. He is in a split share right now with Kenneth Gainwell. And that is bad news, Bears. A lot in the offseason, I talked about how I believe that Miles Sanders was going to be in a committee system, that they were going to run maybe a 2-headed or triple-headed running back by committee. While Miles Sanders is the best running back on this team, and he is a better talent than Kenneth Gainwell, that doesn't mean that since we believe that, since everyone on earth believes that Nick Sirianni will believe that. It seems as though this is going to be a very annoying situation for Miles Sanders all season. After a poor performance up against the Cowboys in week 3, Sanders had just 7 carries for 13 yards and 3 receptions for 34 yards in week number 4 in their game last week up against the Chiefs. At this point, starting Gainwell might be more advantageous than starting Miles Sanders, because it seems like Gainwell is going to be seeing much more valuable opportunity on the team. So you're going to have to sit Miles Sanders down right now, and you're going to have to sit Miles Sanders down until he proves, not even that he proves, right, because he's still a good running back, but until Nick Sirianni proves to us that he is going to commit to Miles Sanders. And final running back to be sitting in today's video is Samaje Perine, running back of the Cincinnati Bengals, going up against the Green Bay Packers this week. Now, if you're in an ultra deep league, then you can start Samaje Perine, but unless you're in like a 16-team league, I'm going to advise you guys to sit down Samaje Perine this week. With Joe Mixon out, presumably Samaje Perine will be the next man up. It's a next man up mentality. He'll be the guy. They do also have Chris Evans on the team, so he will get some usage as well. But presumably, the lead back will be Samaje Perine. Last week in relief of Mixon, Perine had 3 carries for 7 yards and 1 reception for 15 yards. Running backs have also been not very successful up against the Green Bay Packers this season, averaging 75.5 yards rushing and 0.5 touchdowns per game. So expect a far less than stellar day out of Samaje Perine. Again, if you are down tremendous at running back, there are certainly worse options than Samaje Perine, but I think a lot of people are really expecting him to be a plug-and-play option like Damien Williams, where in reality it's kind of the exact opposite situation as Damien Williams. So thank you guys all so much for watching this video. If you did end up enjoying, please make sure that you do hit that subscribe button down below. It would help us out a ton. Follow me on Twitter at NotoriousFNTSY. I love each and every single one of you guys. Thank you for the support on the channel. I love you guys so much. I hope you have a great rest of your guys' day. And as always, good boy.